running backwards and forwards along this predetermined route with a giant 3D printer, taken that technology, found this special concrete that's available to 3D print dwellings.
Going once, going twice, sold! You're listening to The Property Pod.
All right, guys, welcome back to The Property Pod, your weekly engagement into real estate here in your Hobart Marketplace. It almost wasn't a weekly engagement this week. We've hit the studio late. There's been a bit going on. So it's glad that we could snake in and have a little chat.
Snake in.
Yeah, well, look, I went to a photo shoot and unfortunately it didn't work out. So it threw my whole day out. And I was like, man, I was really looking forward to that one this morning. So what am I going to do?
It was perfect timing because obviously I was cancelled as well. So it's like, mate,
There you go.
you're free. I'm free.
Great hot tip. John's got a really nice looking property coming on the market very soon. It just wasn't ready for photos today.
What makes it so good, John?
The top floor feels like the bedrooms from that movie Hook because they're all like that attic sort of style feel. Yeah.
Do you remember that one, the Peter Pan one with Robin Williams?
Oh, actually, I think I saw this one come through. Is that the one in Berridale?
Riverview Parade.
Yeah.
Rosetta.
Yeah.
Right near
It's really cool.
Rosetta Primary.
So it's just a child's, like a kid's dream upstairs. And when the owners had bought it, the grandkids, when they're really young, that was just their favourite place to hang out. Because every
the
room,
attic.
every little room they had just felt like their own little escape.
Well, this sounds really silly. You know how the other day I came around to your place getting ready for your garage sale and Parker was finding all those Nerf guns?
Yep,
and
and
stuff?
shooting them all.
This, I don't know why, but in my head when we got to this place, I was like, man, this would be a fun place to play Nerf guns.
Oh, 100%, because it's a full circle.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you can't get cornered and you can run around anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, these Nerf guns come to my head. I was like, man, I might buy this place and have Nerf wars with the boys.
I'm 100% in on that because the two houses that we had, I remember growing up in Stapleton Street in Glenorchy, that had a full like rectangle shape in some respects. So you could do, run around circles. And if you remember the one we had up at Chigwell, that was the same upstairs. So that was, it was very hard to get cornered. There was always a way to weasel your way out of a situation.
And you could get on the little microphone.
Yeah,
thing, the intercom. I'm coming to get you. You've got nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
I kind of feel as well, growing up with your old man, you had to weasel out of a few little things at times, John.
You ran.
John! Yeah, so look, John does have a really nice property coming up very soon. Once it's photographed, I'm sure it's going to come up a treat. And the reason it was cancelled was there was just, a few little touches to finish it off. And as I was leaving, I said, well, we're removing the butts. There's going to be no butts once we get there and take the photos. It's going to be a sharp-looking property.
And they've worked so hard because they used our campaign agent to get the funds to be able to paint, do patchwork, heaps of stuff. So, to sit there and just right at that last minute to go, oh, should be right. It's like, oh.
Sounds like you two are both in their corner.
Yeah.
Oh, well played, Pat. I was actually just going to say with the campaign agent, can you just, I know we've got an episode about it, but can you explain it to any listeners that haven't listened to that one, how that kind of works?
That have come in late at episode 161 or whatever it is.
No, tell me about that. It feels like the episode 100 was only like a week ago we were having the cake.
That is actually, we're looking at that number. It's actually blown.
Oh my God, this episode is going. All right, let's wind it back. Campaign agent.
So very quickly, it's a way just to be able to get access to money through the company's called Campaign Agent, but it's a short-term loan, so you can get access to up to about 25 grand, where then payable within 6 months. So that allows our clients to if you need to do professional styling, do you need to do any maintenance, any minor renovations, and they'll approve that loan. The money will become available and then has to be paid 6 months from then. And that usually gives us enough time to get the house on the market, get it sold and everything wrapped up so that, all that stuff can be paid off in time.
Yeah, it's really cool because obviously it was firstly designed to help just with marketing costs here at the agency. But then we started branching out to these renovation type projects. We used it on 32 Arunda. No, now I've had a mental blink.
Yeah, up in West Moona.
Yeah, we used it on one in West Moona where we painted the house out and the owner was able to fund it through Campaign Agent. You're using it now. I've got one over at Linda's Farm I'm currently using it on, and it really does help owners unlock that potential in the home.
So say the argument is like, I think I'm ready to sell or I need to sell. I don't have the funds to get the house up to kind of where it needs to be to be in the market.
Yes.
Oh, look at
Call back
referencing
to
last week.
Yep.
So this is a way of saying like we'll take out this amount of money from the campaign agent. That'll come off the sale price, or basically essentially if we can add in the $5,000 to fix it up, we'll
Hopefully
see
we'll-
returns on the
Hopefully
other
we'll
side
make
of
some
it.
more money at the other end. So hopefully that investment of $5,000 might return, 10 or 15,000
Yes.
in profit at the end.
And very simply, it's just like getting a short-term loan with a bank, but it's a specific product so that there's no, instant interest payments. There's no payments need to be made for 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and it's designed solely for the housing real estate
Yeah,
industry.
sure.
So it's really easy for us to be able to help the owner get access to those funds. Normally we can get the funds into your bank account within, 48 to 72 hours, that sort of range.
yeah, a few days.
So it doesn't take that huge amount of time to get the funds, so you can get working on the project pretty much straight
and then,
away.
like if you're someone like John that has all these people in your corner, then you can start sending out your minions to say, all right, sweet, we need the electrician to come in and do this. We need this person to do this. The funds are available.
Well, that's exactly what
Yeah.
we're doing at Lindisfarne. So today we've got the bath being resprayed and the tiles being resprayed just to freshen up the
cool.
bathroom. We've got painters over there next week doing a few of the walls and the window frames. Gardener there starts on Monday, I think, as well. And someone's stomach hungry.
Yeah, well, I think that was me. Did that come through the microphone?
It did.
I heard it too. I thought that was me.
I don't know. I just heard it and I looked at my stomach.
Admittedly, I haven't had breakfast this morning, mate. It could have been mine.
How did it travel all the way up there?
And we have a new carpet going in as well. So we've gone right through the 5 different main things that we think are going to help improve this property. So it's no guarantees with anything in real estate, but it's just well presented properties sell.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. If you can
Absolutely.
fix, like John always says, the butts, then you can obviously get a better result.
Even just this week, we went and shot this place for Martin up on Brixham Court up in just off Tolosa Street.
It's a tidy little place it looked
And
like.
that's exactly what I was going to say. We literally got in, rolled in, took the photos. It was as neat as a button. I had everything turned over by the next day. I literally had, nothing to do in the editing side of things to change anything.
Yep.
Nothing needed to be moved. Video was out. Everything was done. I was like, if you can get into a neat as a button property, it sells itself. I'd be really keen to see what happens with it.
Well, it's interesting that even from your experience from the photographer was easier because it was better presented. And that's exactly how the buyer experiences it.
I don't know. Last time you got those sort of feels about a house you bought it, Aaron.
Funnily, we were in the property and I heard Martin say, this would be a good one for you and your mates, Bassy. And then later I said, Marty was onto something there. And he said, Marty says that at every property. He's always trying to sell it to me.
Oh, very good.
All right. Well, none of this was what was planned to talk about today, but it's always good to kind of just get a bit of real estate banter off our chest. What I did want to cover off on was something I saw about toilets.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, my boy is going to love this episode.
yeah, toilets is where it's at. You wouldn't believe I was just scrolling through the interwebs the other day, and I got served this image of. It almost looked like one of the ice cream machines where the swirly ones come out, the soft serve.
Yep.
Looked like that, but with concrete.
Whoa.
And what it was a 3D printed toilet block that's being built in Dubbo in New South Wales. So what it is running backwards and forwards along this predetermined route with a giant 3D printer, taken that technology, found this special concrete that's available to 3D print dwellings.
So advantages are quicker construction, I assume?
Extremely quick construction.
Yep.
I think it's 4 days or something like that is how long it took to do this toilet block.
But then I'm assuming limitations is size of house because the 3D printer's only so big.
So looking into the house thing, there are a few companies in Australia that are doing it, and you can have them, and they look quite sizable. I'm not sure if it's just done in sections the way that it's done, but yeah, you can have 3-bedroom homes and such. The only thing that it can't print is kind of your window fittings and some of those factors. But yeah, the toilet block's doing the roof and.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the article here says $178,000 cheaper than traditional construction. They must be one fancy toilet block.
Well, yeah, I suppose whatever they get, the fittings and the quoting, at least with that, it's done quickly. And I mean, what is it? Normally, was it just brick? It's either brick or concrete, regardless. So it's it's exactly that. But there's click here and go.
I guess me thinking I think I'd pay more for this type of product if it meant it was done faster.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting. One of the cons I saw was that kind of it will be putting people out of a job because there's chippies and tradies and stuff like
bricklayers.
that that would miss out with this. But yeah, it's saying about $200,000 cheaper than traditional construction, 20% lower cost compared to your traditional bricks and mortar construction. I think where I read something was 8 minutes to set up this machine on site. So basically show up, put the concrete slab down, make sure the CAD drawings are correct. It does like a test run to make sure it's all correct. And then, it's feeding in this concrete, which is meant to be eco concrete, which has all been looked into. So the other thing they were talking about was this could be a way of solving the housing crisis where you can be making
Toilet
houses.
blocks for everyone. Is that what we're going with?
We've got a 1-bedroom toilet block. Cook on the loo.
Basically, they're making prison cells right up the street.
No. Look further into it, and I can find you the plans. Like basically, like your spec home builds plans for 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 4-bedroom. The possibilities are limitless. Basically,
No, I'm actually quite intrigued by it. It looks pretty good. It always makes me laugh when people though comment, "Oh, it's going to destroy jobs. This new technology," because it never really does. It just pivots the jobs into a different direction.
Well, that
So they still need someone to run the machine. You still need someone to create the CAD file. You still need someone to deliver the eco-friendly concrete to the site. Like, still, it's strange how people get so worried about technology changing the way it works.
Well, there was in I think it was one of the older economists where he talked about that has happened throughout history, where the same argument was made with guys that used to, hammer in the pegs on the railroad track. The second that was somehow mechanized, we were like, well, we can't let you do that because we're going to throw all these people out of work. What the technology did, in a sense, was that it enriches people's lives. Not immediately, all those guys suffer, of course, but over time, what happens is now that one specific labour doesn't need to be done, well then, like you said, it then gets rediverted into other channels.
Yeah. Like I always like Coles is a good example. Like when the self-checkout things come out and everyone's stressing about, the traditional checkout person that would, scan your groceries.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to lose so many jobs in that industry. But no, they just pivoted them into the online part of the business now, which is packing groceries on behalf of people.
Just changed it,
it doesn't make a real difference. It just pivots someone into a slightly different role. So
I guess there's always going to be a natural aversion to anything new, but ultimately the potential could only be a good thing as far as I could see. I mean, obviously the biggest challenge is next is what then they have to, when it comes to council approvals and minimum building standards and all that kind of stuff too. So there's so much downline that needs to be fixed and adjusted to in order, for this stuff to be able to be rolled out at scale. But man, it's exciting.
As I looked into it, I was like, that's really cool. The New South Wales government have kind of approved this, and it says in this ABC article, which I found, was that they'll be monitoring it closely to look further into how it ages and how it goes. Because I guess like any new technology seems really good on paper until you kind of test it out and find out, is this going to be something that we can do in the future? There was something else about Northern Territory looking into it and whether it would survive in the heat. And apparently it's even better, the eco-friendliness of it all.
Think of the bloody insulation qualities of concrete, like the way that absorbs heat. Just amazing. Like our house where we're now living, it's got concrete floor on the bottom level and the top level.
Yeah.
And the sun just comes in and it soaks up the concrete soaks up that heat all day.
Absolutely.
Like Abby and I just don't even have the heaters going over night time. The heat just comes naturally out of the floor and it just, you're not cold.
Well, that was a friend of mine built a huge house in Ebden Street in Claremont, and both floors were the polished concrete throughout. And I know there's a word for it, but it escapes me. But that thermomass is it?
Oh,
yeah. But same thing, like huge house, but once it's heated up, like that stays that way, especially with the way it's north facing. So it just cakes in and just stays that way for ages. Yeah. It's awesome.
I only know about this technology because Sam, our architect friend from school days.
Yeah.
He taught me all about thermal mass heating.
So why didn't he tell you about 3D printed homes?
I don't know.
He's afraid he'd be out of a job.
No, he'd be even more into a job because all the fancy corners and stuff that they want to do and all the bends and I want to put this sleek line in to make this even better.
You can. Like it's like a Mr. Squiggle, like that Whirly Jiggy, whatever it was.
Oh, Etch-a-Sketch.
Etch-a-Sketch, yeah, just Etch-a-Sketch houses.
Essentially, it's the cat of 1930s, the old Etch-a-Sketch.
Thanks, mate.
Speaking of old toys, actually, this is a good segue. You've given me an in. Speaking of old toys that people have used, Barbie Mania has hit.
Oh, yeah.
It's been the Barbenheimer weekend with Barbie and Oppenheimer both coming out at the cinema. I wanted to find a way where we could talk about one of the two massive films at the moment. I first was going to go with Oppenheimer and say, where would you build your
Bunker.
Your bunker.
bomb? Your bomb bunker. Where would you build that to prevent the apocalypse? We've talked in the past that Tasmania amazing.
Well,
for
it
the
reminds
apocalypse.
me of a story of John when he sold a piece of land to an Englishman.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to go with that, but I've heard that enough times. So I thought I could switch to Barbie and Barbie's dream house. Did you know that somewhere in California that you can now Airbnb out?
I did
Barbie's
see the
dream
photos
house?
of this, and it is a very intense pink house.
Isn't it?
Would it even be a great experience, or you just want to be in there for 5 minutes, like a museum, and leave? You know.
Yeah, it's probably more that like the overstimulation of sleeping at night with your eyes kind of just being like pinked.
I'm interested by the neighbours. Like, does it glow at night? It is that pink.
It's very,
Like,
very pink.
It is very full on, but it fits the Malibu vibe. So I guess it sort
Exactly.
of just slots in well on the hill there.
So Malibu Barbie, she's got a dream house up there. There's also like the Star Wars house that we talked about previously on the pod, the one that was the plans that people could go to. I know there's a Bluey house in Brisbane.
Yes.
Which you can go and visit. And
Didn't they? There's the Brady Bunch. I'm pretty sure that's an option as well as the Simpsons house as well.
and a Seinfeld scale apartment. So I wanted to reach out to you guys and be like, what would be your pop culture dream house that you'd love to visit, live in, Airbnb?
This is odd, but remember what was that puppet show? Oh gosh, she had. You have to cut this because it's going to take me a long time to think.
No, this is the good bit.
Puppet show.
The puppeteer, it was a sheep. And
Lamb Chops play
Lamb
along.
Chops play along. So I'm 99% confident in that they had their Lamb Chops house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was. I remember being a kid and thinking this is amazing because they had all little secret doors and trap doors and stuff. So I don't think it'd be comfortable at all, but I would be very keen to see. Maybe it's just that kid in me to see a Lamb Chops play along life size to scale house.
That's an amazing kind of deep reference in your brain, like locked in there.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, when was the last time you thought about lamb chops, John?
But yeah, I still hear there's that member berries that are kicking in. It's like, oh, that just looks so cool. So I'm going to roll with that. That's the first one that comes to mind.
All right, Pat.
I'm all about that Lego house that's outside of Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
It's this big, giant white house, and it's made to look like giant Lego bricks.
That's pretty intense.
And then inside, it's all like constructed like Lego. To me, you know me, I love my Lego. I love building stuff, and I just think it'd be really cool to go there.
Jack often watches on YouTube this guy who's, I can't remember his name, Unspeakable or Unbreakable or something. Anyway, he's got one of the videos where he's made a giant Lego house out of actual Lego bricks. So a fully functional out of Lego bricks, and they've worked it all out. I'm just like this guy's got way too much money.
Minecraft.
Well, it's only fair if you give us your pick.
Yeah, I did think about this. I was trying to work it out.
Since you've had the time to think because you threw us under the bus, so you should have an answer.
Yeah, I didn't actually do that. I guess I probably should have put some thought into that. What would be my ultimate dream house?
I'm going to go with Luke Skywalker's house from Tatooine.
Yeah, well, too sandy and
Too sandy.
you know, I hate sand.
I could. The another one that came to mind was the castle from Voltron.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm more landing, like something that's just right out there, like the He-Man castle, or but maybe that's just front of mind.
Yeah, that was exactly.
Michael J. Fox's house from Back to the Future.
Yeah, we're getting in the right zone. After he's gone back and fixed the time, of course, not when he's poor. When he's come back,
Not when he's poor.
You know, when he comes back
When
and
he
he's
comes
got
back
he's got the 4-wheel drive and stuff. It's like, oh man, awesome.
Well, the one that with the Richie Rich house now, like with all the YouTube videos these days, you can just see all those giant mansions walking through. And man, what do you get to do with 17 bathrooms and bedrooms like those? Like uber mansions. The more I think about them, the more retarded.
That's
they
what
are.
this YouTube that he watches. He just fills it with like the ball pit balls. He's like, I filled my whole house with ball pit balls. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
New York City Sewer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right, there you go.
There you go.
There's my pop culture reference.
And you got in order to get the pizza, you got to put the $5 through the pizza grate.
Yeah, 33
There's also that Harry Potter Airbnb that exists now.
See,
Have you
there
seen
you
that?
go.
That'd be incredible.
That one's crazy, and obviously John's a massive Harry Potter fan at the moment.
now, yeah.
But it's got multiple rooms, and they're all set up in the different houses.
Oh, that's
and when you arrive, you have to put the hat on to find out which room you're sleeping in.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Oh,
the hat tells you which room you're sleeping in.
Nancy,
I reckon way more dirty stuff happens in the Slytherin house than
Not as wholesome, you reckon, in the Airbnb?
Hufflepuff. They're just sitting around reading, but in Slytherin,
forget about it.
look out. All right. Well, that's the property pod for this week. I got nothing else. As I said, I was meant to be at a photo shoot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a yarn with you, mate. So good to be back, boys.
I could work with that.
We'll be back next week with something proper related.
Yeah, some more Slytherin stories.
See ya. You have been listening to The Property Pod, recorded and edited by 414 Media House in conjunction with 414 Property Code.
This podcast is general information only, and the thoughts and views expressed is the opinion of our panel, and listeners should always seek and use their own investigation into any topic we discuss to ensure they fully understand their own situation.
It does not constitute and should not be relied on as purchasing, selling, financial or investment advice or recommendations, express or implied, and it should not be used as an invitation to take up any agent or investment services. No investment decision or activity should be undertaken on the basis of this information without first seeking qualified and professional advice.